I was never someone who could consider themselves a Star Wars fan. I've watched all the movies and TV shows related to the universe and gained a sporadic knowledge. I'm not considering it a religion, nor do I talk in Wookiee language in my spare time, but I can really appreciate Star Wars for what it is. I enjoyed watching Mandalorian, and I cannot wait for Obi-Wan series, despite Disney sometimes making questionable choices when it comes to characters, story, censorship, awful The Last Jedi movie, etc. Since I'm in a mood for another Star Wars related thing, I've got myself what is still the latest entry in the franchise, a game called Jedi Fallen Order. Since it's been 10,000 years since I've played Force Unleashed, the only thing I can remember was that the game was actually really good third-person action adventure. EA needs to do another one after a slightly controversial matter called Star Wars Battlefront 2. Despite it selling quite well, the game was plagued with loot boxes and gaming community went nuts. Even some countries were using the game and EA as an example for the case studies in which they would argue if in-game loot boxes should be considered gambling. Remember, when you pay for loot boxes in the game, you're essentially paying for a chance that you will get something. A chance driven by a luck factor. The gamers probably won't gonna sell a house to get a pink gun skin in some game, but some are willing to spend thousands of dollars. And if some of the gamers are underage kids, spending cash without parental supervision, that's the line you don't wanna cross now, do you? So, EA needed a redemption arc in form of a game that would please gamers. Together with Respawn Entertainment, they have decided to build a single-player third-person game set in Star Wars universe. That was in my book a step in the right direction. I'm always fond of the stories that start with the animation that transfers into immediate gameplay. This game is no exception. After a nice-looking landscape of Bracca filled with ships, the camera flows into our redhead hero Cal Kestis and his co-worker Prof doing their tedious mundane job. A nice introduction to game's mechanics, or should I say uncharted tendencies. A lot of platforming, tiptoeing on the steel bars, shimming across, etc. is here, which is not a bad thing at all. Halfway through the platforming, you might be wondering if our hero has Jedi powers or not. Can he use the Force? Don't worry, a Deus Ex Machina situation will eventually happen that will reveal the obvious. Cal is a hidden rebel, or in other words, a Jedi Padawan. Of course, that sudden revelation, oh my god, we totally didn't expect that, was recorded by Droid, which made the area hot for search by sisters. Second sister was especially fond of threats to exterminate the group of workers if an intruder doesn't show his or her face. Prof sacrificed himself so Cal can escape via a ship called Mantis controlled by his future allies, Sir Janda and Grease Dritus. I don't know if I spelled that correctly. Just to be clear from the start, if you don't know what that is. The story of Jedi Fallen Order is actually canonical. It happens in year 14 BBY, Battle Before Yemen, after the Clone Wars, or 5 years after the events of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith movie. The Jedi Order has, as you probably know, fallen, but there is always new hope before a new hope. Did I just do a hopeception? Anyways, Cal possesses Jedi skills and can use the Force, and there is more. Walt in the first planet you visit, Boganu, has the list of Force-sensitive children. This is ideal for the idea of restoring Jedi Order again to its former glory if possible, just to bring the balance against the raging Empire. You know this wouldn't be a complete Star Wars experience if you don't have a droid beside you. Cal befriends a little droid BD-1 that will be a great companion for solving a lot of obstacles along the way. And this is it. I'm drawing the line which I'm not crossing, no spoiling. I'm just gonna say that in typical fashion, the story will be made of cool and sometimes bland elements, and sometimes a good twist will come here and there just to spice things up. That's it. Done.
Not like Lateron.
Once you're on board flying on a Mantis with your crew, you can rest, grow plants, talk to others, etc. But when you reach the main deck, you can choose a holographic planet and Grease will engage the speed of light to get you there. He will tell you when it's time to sit in the coolest co-pilot chair I've ever seen. Sitting on the chair means that the planet is within the reach and it's time to disembark. And seriously, the chair looks so cool that I wanna have one. A working chair like that? Damn. I do hope that one day they'll make a special edition of a Star Wars sequel with that chair. If Microsoft can have an Xbox fridge, EA can make a Star Wars chair, right? Right? No? Oh, come on! Anyways, every planet serves as a huge level with so many paths, shortcuts, hidden areas and so forth. No really, More often than not, you will feel kind of lost and confused as for where to go next. So it's time to bring the 3D map to the table. I encourage you to explore every part, or should I say, every crevice of the level. Cal can really squeeze himself through claustrophobic halls just to reach some secrets, usually echoes. These serve as some sort of audio/video logs so Cal can understand more closely what happened in the area or what happened to the dead corpse nearby or something. This kind of exploring grants you more experience points. You need experience. Why? To spend the points on the upgrades while meditating. Wanna use more force? Wanna inflict deadlier lightsaber slashes? Wanna learn more moves? You better gain experience. Or don't if you think you can make it by making the game harder on purpose. The more of the level you explore, you will unlock more and more shortcuts so you can get back to previous parts more easily and quickly. This is very appreciative since levels are made in such a way that you need to return to the Mantis once you finish what you need to do in the level, and there is no fast travel. This part can be sometimes excruciating because you'll need to traverse back for more than half a level just to reach your ship. That kind of backtracking is not a cool design practice in my book. It's boring. Also, some parts of the level are closed until you learn new skills. For example, using push force to blast a cracked wall. You can spot red glow around stuff you cannot interact with yet, and blue around the ones you can. Can we say that this level design is Metroidvania-like? If you can sweep previous levels once again, once you learn new skills, you will be well rewarded, trust me. So, fighting. Cal is a Jedi. What does a Jedi do? Uses a lightsaber to slice stormtroopers into pieces, yeah! Or uses it to deflect their lasers. Or to parry their melee attacks. Or uses force to slow enemies down so he can have an upper hand in fighting. Or uses push force to throw them off a cliff or... Okay, enough of that. The fighting itself is reminiscent of Souls games. That means if you don't approach enemies carefully and dodge or parry their attacks, you'll have a bad time. Spamming attacks is not the option. Even quite big enemies are quite quick to attack and inflict great damage on Cal, especially on higher difficulties. So, having strategy is of importance. Luckily, BD1 can hold several steam vials to replenish health, but also replenishes health and steam vials is resting on the meditation spots, but it also respawns enemies as a countermeasure. You will not get past certain hard parts so easily, I'm afraid, my friend. Using force in a battle can really help, but it uses stamina, just like deadlier lightsaber finishers. Use them enough times and stamina meter is depleted. This means you either run, dodge or parry enemies until it fills up again. Since using certain forces is designated to just one button, it's really easy to incorporate the usage while wielding a saber like a maniac. Once you learn the tools of the trade, you'll be an unstoppable force to be reckoned with. If enemy kills you, it will happen, yes. Just like in Souls games, it steals your XP and sends you to the nearer meditation space. But fear not, just find the exact enemy and do one hit, and all of the stolen XP and force gets back to you. Easy job. Just don't die again. By playing Jedi Fallen Order, I have the feeling that I'm playing a rather good interactive movie sequel. The overall atmosphere of the Star Wars universe is top-notch. All of the Star Wars tropes are here. The characters and their roles in the story gradual unfolding, the slumber of the Forest Whitaker everlasting sullen eye, Cal and BD1 friendship, and so on. Actually, I really like Cal as a protagonist. At first I admit I was afraid that he would be a whiny little brat that needs to have a change of heart or grow up to be what he's destined to be, but I was wrong. He's quite a good character and I like his sometimes deadpan humor. I also like his calmness and overall capabilities as a Jedi. No matter what task is in front of him, he'll do it without hesitation. If a situation seems like an impossible one or life-threatening, a flashback scene will appear where his master Jaro Tapal will remind him through training to become one with the Force. Friendship with BD1 will be stronger through the game as Cal forges new capabilities to his little buddy. Even though BD1, just like any little droid in Star Wars universe, can't speak proper English, you feel like you can understand it. BD1 feels like a likable, funny and sometimes sarcastic little friend, and that gets the several points of sympathy from me. Levels are quite beautiful and each one of them oozes with their own atmosphere. Planets really look like they belong in a Star Wars movie. Too bad each and every one is infested with the Empire devastation, but you gotta do what you gotta do to make the plot going on. I'm playing the game on a PS5 and sometimes the frame rate is not that stable. Sometimes the performance will abruptly stutter for a second or two. To load the next portion of the level? I presume. I don't really know. But what really goes on my nerves is respawning time after I get killed. Loading takes such a lot of time. Sometimes it takes a solid minute. This is nuts if you remember that one of the stronger selling points of the PS5 was almost non-existent load times. Imagine dying quickly by the ruthless enemy or optional mini-boss only to find out that you'll need to wait a million years to fight again. And then you fight and die again, within seconds. Yeah, I know, pain and suffering. The soundtrack is your typical Star Wars orchestra, but it complements the game and overall feel quite good. I can't imagine any other music to be in the game. This music just amplifies the entire experience to the point that you might think you're playing an epic opera journey. So yeah, I love it. I think I'm right in saying that EA and Respawn really nailed the game. From the first announcement until the game's release, it was evident that it's going to be a hit. Most of the people I know that played the game, they've only had the words of praise. The only complaints would be backtracking and long loadings. In essence, the same stuff I was talking about a bit earlier. The spirit of the Star Wars was well captured and the force is strong in this game. In fact, the force that drawn the gamers was so strong that the game was sold in more than 10 million copies by the March 31st of 2020. Nowadays, the number is probably even higher. This notion probably blew every single person in EA headquarters who were against single-player games in favor of multiplayer ones. This abnormally giant sales figure exceeded everyone's expectation and proved once again that people want a good single-player game. Jedi Fallen Order is even better than a good single-player game. So good that no wonder a few days ago the sequel Star Wars Jedi Survivor was announced for the year 2023. I just hope EA won't ruin it. But we'll see about that next year. Until then, if you didn't play this one, I highly recommend you play it. And once again, thank you for watching and until next time.
We've lost comrades, friends, family to the Empire. Dark times. And yet the fire still burns. Hope still burns. The Jedi are not yet lost. We are not yet lost. Kashyyyk is not yet lost. For the cause